Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title of this video, I'm going to be doing a story time. I was going to do a story time like a get ready with me, but I'll be going nowhere. So it's just like, what am I doing to get ready with me for? Then I was like, maybe you're not going to do your hair. But as you can see, I really don't even do my hair like that. Because like, I'm a mom. Okay? It's not about me. It's about the baby. That's besides the point. So yeah, let's get into the video. As y'all saw from my last video that I had posted, I'm trying to be quiet because the baby's literally sleeping right there, and I don't want to wake her up. So, as y'all saw from my last video, I was supposed to get induced. I was supposed to get an induction done on November 30th, and I thought my induction was supposed to be 11:59. But it turns out I didn't even need to get an induction, which I'm so grateful for because I heard inductions hurt so freaking bad. I was so scared. I didn't even want to get an induction done. Like, so if y'all don't know what an induction is, an induction is basically when you go to the hospital and they um make contractions for you. So like, it's different ways they do it. So it's different ways they do it. They have a pill. You either take a pill. They do an IV. They also do a balloon. So they put a balloon up the hoo-hoo, and they expand your cervix until this way the baby could come out. Which I did not want because I heard it was so painful. Sometimes it takes hours. Sometimes it takes days just for that to happen. So I was like, I do not want to have an induction, but I really didn't have a choice. But so after I filmed my what was in my bag video, I was having light cramps, not like bad ones, but like just like small light ones, and I was just like, okay, I'm 37 weeks, so I'm not surprised I'm having these light cramps. It wasn't like too bad, unbearable, but I was like, okay, whatever. So that started around like 11 o'clock that night. So I went and I took me a little bath. I ran me a bath with some Epsom salt because I heard, that helps with like the contractions. I was having little ones. So I ran me a bath with some Epsom salt. And yeah, I just sat in the tub. Until I was like, okay, I'm ready to get out. I'm ready to go to bed. Sat in the tub, and then I came and laid down. And when I laid down, it was about probably like I want to say 11:30, almost 12 o'clock, and my contractions was just getting a little incy bincy more intense, and not like drastically intense, but just a little bit more intense. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just lay down. I'm gonna go to sleep, and hopefully that passes. Hopefully I wake up tomorrow and I feel better, and everything's okay. So I was laying down and I really was having these contractions, and they weren't like at the time they hurted really bad, but they wasn't that bad. But at the time they hurted. So I was like, okay, like my contractions are starting to hurt a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And I started timing them. So I was like, okay, you know what? I don't know if I could bear waiting until 11 o'clock in the morning. Like my contractions are actually like starting to get a little bit intense. So I got up. I told told my man, I was like, yo, we might have to go to the hospital. Mind you, now it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, yo, we're gonna have to go to the hospital. The hospital that I had the baby at is not around where I live. The hospital I had the baby is literally an hour away from where we live. So I'm like, hey, listen, we might have to go to the hospital because my contractions are getting a little bit more worse, and I don't know if I'm gonna make it to 11 o'clock in the morning. So he's like, you sure? Just go lay back down and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to lay back down, but I think we're gonna have to go to the hospital. So I tried to lay back down. I laid down for probably like 10, 15 minutes, probably 5, 10 minutes. And I was like, yeah, we going to the hospital. The way my contractions was feeling, I was like, we out. Like, let's go. I'm not about to sit here and wait and this baby come in my room. Like, we ain't doing it. So I'm supposed to be getting induced in a couple hours because it's November 30th, 2:37 in the morning. I'm supposed to be getting induced November 30th, 11:45 in the morning. But it seems like I might have to go to the hospital tonight because I'm having contractions and they're literally 5 minutes apart, and it don't feel good. Like, I've had contractions and they weren't that bad. Like, I can bear through it, sit there and be like, okay, whatever. Anyways, going on my phone, blah, 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 blah. Now, these contractions, I need quiet. I cannot talk. I just need to, like, breathe through it and just wait until it's over and hope, like, please be over in 2 seconds. Because these contractions is getting real painful, y'all. So far, I've been timing them, and they're literally every 5 minutes apart. So, I think I'm going to do, like, 2 more, and if it's still 5 minutes apart, I'm going to just head to the hospital. But my whole thing is, I don't want to go to the hospital, and they sent me home. Because, like I said, I'm getting induced at 11:45. It's currently almost 3 o'clock in the morning. 8 hours from now. So I don't want to go to the hospital, and then they send me home, and then I have to go back to the hospital in the morning. I don't want to sit here and wait it out, and then I'm having worse contractions. Then I get to the hospital, and they're like, girl, why you ain't coming sooner? I don't know. I ain't never did this before. Okay, y'all. So I'm going to go to the hospital because my contractions are really, like, a little unbearable for me. I'm not going to pain. My voice is shaky because, oh my gosh. But we're going to head to the hospital. I'm going to go ahead and get ready while I can, while I'm not having a contraction. And I guess I'll see y'all soon. So by this time, it's probably like 3:15 in the morning. I wake up my mom and I'm like, hey, take me to the hospital because my contractions are getting a little bit worse and I'm not really feeling it. You know, I don't really feel good. So my mom's like, okay, no problem. So we jump in the car and we head to the hospital. We get everything. We get our diaper bag. We get her bag. We get my hospital bag, his hospital bag. We get everything we need and we go to the hospital. Luckily, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. So luckily, nobody was on the road. Like, the road was empty. So my mom is driving. She caught a ticket and my dad got mad. He was like, oh, you just got a ticket. You just got a ticket. My mom's like, I don't care. Like, I will pay off the ticket. Like, your daughter's about to go into labor. You worried about a dang car ticket? Like, I don't care. A speeding ticket. It was just so funny because we was trying to tell her, like, it's a camera on this block. She didn't want to listen. So we got to the hospital in like 30 minutes instead of an hour because there was nobody on the highway. But we got to the hospital. We go in, we check in, we go upstairs to labor and delivery. I'm filling out paperwork and they send me to the room. They're timing my contractions. The nurse came in, she does a service check. She's like, okay, you're only 2.5 centimeters. I'm like, 2.5 centimeters. Are you kidding me? You sure? Don't check it again because that hurt, but are you sure? So I'm like, okay, whatever, 2.5 centimeters, whatever. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, they still admit me. You know, I don't know nothing. So the time of my contractions, the nurse comes in again. We were there, I want to say for like, probably like 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours probably. We were there for. So they time my contractions, they're monitoring me, and the nurse comes back in there and she's like, so your contractions are not back to back and they're not consecutive, so we're gonna send you home. Let me tell y'all, I was so sad. I was like, please don't send me home. Like, I don't want to go back home. Just admit me. So I told the nurse, I'm like, hey, listen, like, are you sure? Like, is there anything else you can do? Because I don't live close to the hospital. I live an hour away and stuff like that. And she was like, well, hopefully there's no traffic. But you mean hopefully there's no traffic? You want to get smacked. Like, you think this is a game. So I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. My man's tired. My parents are tired. Everybody's tired. Like, we just want to go home. Mind you, his sister was with us too. Like, everybody was literally just tired. It's literally like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning now. From the time we got to the hospital to the time we left, it was literally like 5 o'clock in the morning. The sun was coming up, okay? None of us slept from the prior day. Like, we was all just up and they was hanging out. I was trying to go to sleep. I couldn't even sleep. So everybody's tired. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get these papers. Let me sign myself out and let me just go home and try to sleep it off. We get discharged from the hospital. I come back home. By the time we get home, it's literally, I want to say 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 going on 6 o'clock in the morning. So I come, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me just go lay down, whatever. I go to bed. I come lay down. I couldn't even sleep, y'all. My contractions got 10 times worse than it was from 3 o'clock in the morning. So now I'm sitting here like, okay, oh, backtrack. So remember I told y'all I was supposed to get induced at 11 in the morning on November 30th? So I'm in the hospital and I'm telling the nurse, I'm like, hey, listen, is there any way we could stay because I'm supposed to get induced 11 in the morning? So the nurse is like, okay, let me go check and I'll come back and like let you know. So she leaves the room. A couple minutes later, she comes back. She's like, so you're actually not supposed to get induced till 11:59 p.m. Hello? I'm like, 11:59 p.m. I'm like, hey, y'all want me to wait till? I'm like, what do you mean 11:59 p.m.? I'm like, you sure 11:59 p.m.? I thought the paper said 11 a.m. She was like, no, no, we can't do an induction when you're 37 weeks, so we have to wait until you're 38 weeks. Girl, I wanted to cry so bad. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna have him tell y'all his point of view of what happened that day. I was telling him about when we went to the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning. What was your point of view?
Never seen vampires before in my life.
So vampires?
Vampires.
What was you thinking when I told you I wanted to go to the hospital at 3 o'clock in the morning?
So this is it. She's coming. She's here. She's here.
You was thinking when the doctor said, I told her we live far and she said hopefully there's no traffic.
I was just like, yo, like, you got gas money?
Do you have gas money, Miss Nurse?
Gas money, Miss Nurse. You see this? If you're out there, do you have gas money? Reimbursement? I'm out.
So when we got back home, it was about like 6:30 in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I went to lay back down and I just couldn't sleep. My contractions literally got 10 times worse than it was from the last time that we was at the hospital. Like I couldn't sleep. Oh my God, I couldn't breathe. I just wanted to freaking, I don't even know what I wanted to do. I was just like, this baby need to come up out of me right now. Right now. Like it's about that time. So I laid down, I was laying there, whatever, and all of a sudden I felt a little pop. Just like that. It was like a little water balloon. And I just felt water. And I was just like, what in the world was that? So I looked at my drawers and I just see a little bit of water. So I'm like, hey, did I pee on myself just now? Or my water broke. So I went to the living room, I went to my mom. I'm like, Mom, what does it feel like when your water breaks? My mom was like, I don't know, my water never broke. The doctors always did it. Sure, no help, Mom. But okay, thanks. So I was like, okay, well, I think my water just broke, so we need to go to the hospital. So my mom's like, all right, well, if your water broke, then we definitely need to go to the hospital. How far are your contractions? And I saw her like they're like literally 2 minutes apart, like they're hurting so bad. I can't even stand up. I can't sit down. I can't breathe. I can't think. I can't blink. I can't sleep. I can't do nothing. So we end up saying, you know what? We're gonna go back to the hospital. So we go back to the hospital, and y'all. By this time that my water broke, it was 8 o'clock in the morning. There was so much traffic because people was going to work. I wanted to sit in the car and freaking cry. Like I literally just wanted to fly or something because oh my God, my contractions hurt so freaking bad. So at this time, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. We sitting in freaking traffic because everybody's going to work. I'm in the back seat having contractions, about to cry my eyes out because I just couldn't bear the pain. Like it hurt so freaking bad. We get to the hospital and y'all, and let me tell y'all, when we was driving to the hospital, my mom was hitting every single pump. She could find I was in the back seat like, mother, relax. I'm like, Mom, chill out on them bumps, for real. For real, chill out on them bumps. She's sorry. I was like, oh my God. So whatever. Eventually we get to the hospital. My mom's like, where you want me to drop you off? I'm like, Mom, just drop me off right here. I'ma walk I'ma walk to the door and that's it. I'ma call it a day. So she's like, no, I'ma drop you off at the door. So we go into the hospital, literally didn't even have to sign in because we was just there. 3 o'clock in the morning. So we get there, we don't sign in. The security guard sees us, he remembers us. He's like, "Oh yeah, just go ahead. Like, you still have your pass, just go ahead." We go upstairs. I'm sitting in the waiting room, the labor and delivery waiting room, filling out paperwork. Mind you, I was just there 3 o'clock in the morning. So I'm like, why do I have to fill out paperwork again when I was just here? So I'm just signing. I'm like, all right, like, let's go. I'm trying to breathe. They come, they wheel me, get the wheelchair, put me in the wheelchair, put me in the back room. The nurses come in. The nurses were so much more nicer than the nurses in the nighttime. Let me tell you, the nurses I got in the morning was so much more nicer than the nurses that was there 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness. So nurses come in, they hook me up to the monitor. The nurse did the cervix check. She's like, "Oh, you're 5 centimeters now." My girl, I was just 2.5. I'm 5 centimeters now. She was like, "So we're gonna admit you." I said, "Music to my ears. Let me get the epidural. Like, no lie. I was like, "Okay, when can I get the epidural?" She was like, "Well, we have to do your paperwork and we have to admit you, and then we could get you situated with the epidural." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So they come in, they do my IV. They're still monitoring the baby's heart and stuff like that, asking me a whole bunch of questions. Mind y'all, I am having contractions through all of this. They asking me questions. I'm not even answering them because I'm having contractions. I'm just sitting there like, trying to breathe. They're like, "I'll wait. You will wait." You will wait, baby. You will wait because I'm having a contraction right now. Like, I can't talk to you. So once my contraction's over, I'm just like, yes, no. This is my date of birth. Da, 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 answering them. They're like, "Oh my gosh, how many babies do you have?" "None." I'm like, one, a dog. And they're like, "Wow, you're doing so good. Like, we would have thought you had another baby before this. We would have thought this was like your second baby. Usually people at 5 centimeters are like going crazy." Girl, I am going crazy. I'm about to start pulling out my hair. Get me admitted and give me that epidural. Whatever. I'm like, girl, y'all need to let's go. So, mind y'all, we got there. I want to say 9 o'clock in the morning because it was traffic. We left the house about 8:15. We got there about probably like 9. So we got there. By the time I got admitted and put into actually put into labor and delivery, like the room, it was probably, I want to say, 10 o'clock. Yeah, it had to be like 10 o'clock. So I'm in there, still having contractions. Every time I see my nurse, I'm like, when can I get epidural? When can I get epidural? Like, these contractions are getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Everybody just keeps saying, breathe. What do you think I'm doing? You think I'm holding my breath? Like, what do you think I'm doing? If I could punch a wall right now, I will punch a wall. So I'm just like, okay, I'm breathing. I'm breathing as much as I can. Okay. Yeah, I'm breathing as much as I can. Just woosah. It ain't helping. I'm like, epidural. Give me that epidural. So then, I want to say like an hour later, my nurse comes back in and I'm like, "Can I get the epidural? Like, I need that epidural." So she's like, "Yeah, you actually can. Your paperwork is processing. So I'm gonna go ahead and find the the epidural lady, and I'll get her in here, and we'll get you that epidural." So I'm like, "Oh my god, thank God." My nurse leaves, and sometime later she comes back with the epidural lady, and she tells my mom and my man that they gotta go out the room, that they can't be in there while she's doing it, which I don't know why, but I'm just like, okay, whatever. So they leave the room. She tells me I have to sit up, not to move. So I'm sitting up, and my nurse is in front of me, and I'm holding her. She holding me, and I'm freaking scared because y'all, I do not like needles. And I was looking at the stuff she had right there, and that needle was huge. I was just like, I don't know if I want to epidural, but then I was like, no, girl, you gonna get that epidural. Go get that. So, yeah. So I'm watching. And they're like, okay, so she's doing her thing. She's put the thing. She's telling me, okay, I'm just putting the plastic on your back. And she's like, okay, I'm going to rub this on your back. And she's like, okay, I'm going to go on with the needle now. First time she went with that needle, I jumped. I was like, I was like, ooh, like, but so she was like, don't move. So I'm like, I'm so sorry, girl. That just pinched me. I don't like needles, y'all. Like, I do not like needles. So I'm sorry. It's like, hey, I'm not going to move. So I'm making sure I don't move. I'm sitting there. Whatever she do it, boom, get that epidural. And I literally just feel one leg go numb. One leg instantly went numb. Like, I felt the medicine go on me. That one leg went numb. My other one, it wasn't as numb, but I was still numb, like waist down. But one leg was just more numb than the other one. So they clean up, whatever. They put me back on. Well, I'm already on the bed, but they just lay me down like on the bed. My man and my mama, they come back in the room now. So they come back in the room. I'm laying there. I feel so relieved. Like, I don't have no more contraction. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to get some sleep. So I'm laying there. I'm trying to sleep. Girl, I couldn't even sleep. My whole body started itching, like head to toe. I was just itching. So I'm thinking I'm having an allergic reaction. I'm like, oh, why am I itching like this? So I'm asking my mom, I'm like, Mom, why am I itching? Like, what's going on? Like, is that from the epidural? Is that normal? Like, am I having an allergic reaction? What's going on? So my mom was like, oh yeah, that's normal. Like, that just happens. Your body's just gonna itch. Why don't nobody talk about that? Why does nobody talk about when you get epidural, your whole body itches? Like I really felt like a crackhead or something. I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, let me try to get some sleep. No, boo, you ain't getting no sleep because them nurses about to come in there, checking your arm, doing the IV, checking the baby, doing this, doing that. Then on top of that, homegirl was coming, but she wasn't coming. She was taking her time. Like, boo, you broke my water. Let's go. So now I'm sitting there. They like, okay, we're gonna put this in you, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that. So they put a monitor in me to monitor baby girl's heart because her heart rate kept dipping and dipping, and it wasn't staying at a certain point they needed it to stay. So they put a monitor on her head, like from inside me. They put it on her head to monitor her heart rate, and then yeah, they was just monitoring her, and then my blood pressure was not where it needed to be. My blood pressure was too high, so they had to keep monitoring me. So I really didn't sleep at all. Then when I'm like, okay, let me go to sleep. Every time I tried to go to sleep, it was just so much pressure by my butt. Like, sorry, but it was. This is real, y'all. This is serious. This is real. Like, this is really what happened. It was so much pressure by my butt. And I'm like, why is there so much pressure by my butt? So my nurse comes in. She's like, hey, listen, like, you'll know when it's time to push because it's going to feel like you have to take a really big poop. So I'm like, well, I feel like I have to poop. She's like, really bad? Do you feel like you really, really have to poop? Or is it just a little bit? So I'm like, no, not really bad, but I feel pressure. She's like, okay, well, that's a good sign. That means she's coming down, so that's a good sign. So I'm like, okay. Girl, by 5 o'clock, they was like, my nurse came in, she was like, okay, so we might have to start pushing soon, so let's just get you into certain positions. Let's do practice pushes, blah blah blah. Practice pushes wasn't practice, but I was pushing, but practice pushes, whatever. Practice pushes, and they put my legs on the things, and she was like, okay, this is how you're gonna push, this is how I want you to do it, blah blah blah. So I was doing it, and she was like, okay, like, so far so good. And I started pushing by 5, and by 5:40 p.m. the baby was here, and it was just such a crazy experience, so crazy. So then after that, we was in the hospital from November 30th to December 2nd. We didn't get discharged until December 2nd. And yeah, that's basically what happened. And it was just so crazy, and it was just such an experience. Like, you really don't know until you experience it. Like, you could hear stories, you could hear so many stories, and people tell their stories, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, that sounds so scary. One, yes, it is scary. Two, it's exciting. And three, it's just such an experience that you go through, your body goes through. And it's just amazing though, because you really create a whole human and push out a whole human. It's just like, wow, like, I really just did that. That's how I felt. I was just like, wow, I really just did that. But other than that, it was like a 10 out of 10. I give my experience a 10 out of 10. No complications, thankfully. And my nurses were nice. That was nice. I'm glad I had good nurses, nice nurses, and they knew what I was doing, what they was doing. And the hospital food was actually good. Like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't know if I was just hungry or what, but the hospital food was good. On the first night, I had chicken and rice, and that was good. On the second night, I had shrimp and I think white rice or like vegetables or something like that. And then one morning, I had French toast and bacon. That was the best breakfast that they had gave me that the whole time for me being there. Because then the next morning they had gave me something else. It was disgusting. But other than that, the food was really good, and it was a Panera Bread downstairs. But their food wasn't that good. Like, it was good, but it wasn't really that good. But it was like. And yeah, and then after December 2nd, we took her home, and now she's 3 months healthy. And I couldn't be more happy with my experience. I couldn't be more happy with my little family. I just love her so much. Y'all want anything y'all want to say, baby? She's watching me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and support my channel, because it literally takes $0 to support somebody. Like, just like it. You could like it, you could comment, you could share. You know what I'm saying? You could do either or you could do all. So next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.